Streaming on clickorlando.com. You're watching News 6 at 10.
Sitting that baby on the ground and they pumping in his chest, that's hurtful. I have nieces and nephews. I feel sorry for the family.
Now on News 6, 14's hurt in a shootout in her restaurant and a bullet went through her hair. Her message to the community, coping after the violence. A 13-year-old slashed in the throat, grabbed, police say, at random by this stranger on a busy boardwalk. Tonight, the boy's mom says a fun race weekend came within a millimeter of ending in tragedy.
Come on, now. I got you. Come on.
A deputy rushes into a burning home, rescuing an unconscious woman. She's going to be okay. He is sharing what prompted him to jump into action.
I thought if there's a chance, I got to get her out. Saved her life, and I'm eternally grateful to God for that.
But we start new at 10 tonight with another local city wondering what to do about e-bike riders breaking the rules and putting others in danger. Good evening to you. I'm Eric Von Anken. Very glad you're with us tonight. This time, DeLand police are asking city commissioners to clarify the rules while giving officers more power to enforce them, especially in the busy downtown area. News 6's Alex Cook breaks down what e-bike riders and their parents need to know.
Bikes and skateboards have been illegal on DeLand sidewalks for years. Now the police department is asking city council to add e-bikes to the list.
We want to ensure people aren't riding e-bikes in the downtown area on sidewalks. It's very dangerous to pedestrian traffic. We're also asking that people under 18 would have to wear a helmet for their safety when riding an e-bike.
The department also asking the city to lower the minimum punishment from an arrest to a $250 fine. They say so far they've been all about education and warnings, but they're ready to start enforcing. JC of JC Bikes and Boards in DeLand says the sidewalk rule has been around in downtown for as long as he can remember. He rides his e-bike in the road.
Parking is a disaster downtown here, so a bike's quick in and out. One of my guys that works here every day rides a bike from the downtown.
But not all e-bikes are created equal. Deputy Chief Kisthart says that this new technology has some people confused, and a lot of parents might be buying their kids e-bikes that are illegal to ride anywhere in public. Let's break down the types of bikes. This is a Class 1 e-bike, which means there's no throttle, just a pedal assist to keep you going up to 20 miles an hour. This is a Class 2 e-bike, which means it has a built-in throttle that goes up to 20 miles an hour. And now I'm on a Class 3 bike, which is pedal assist up to 28 miles an hour. The common denominator? Pedals. Dirt bike style bikes without pedals can go over 30 miles an hour, and those aren't legal to drive on any public roads.
Those are essentially like 0 to 60 in a few seconds. You know, they're essentially a motorcycle. They're very fast. They're fun, but they're fast.
City Council wasn't voting tonight, but if the police department has its way, they'll soon have another tool to help keep riders and pedestrians safe in the wake of this undeniably fun, but potentially dangerous new technology. In DeLand, Alex Cook, News 6.
A terrifying story tonight. A young teenager is recovering after his throat was slashed by a stranger right near the Slingshot ride in Daytona Beach Boardwalk. Police say the attacker apparently picked the boy randomly, the wound just a millimeter away from turning tragic. That's according to the 13-year-old's mother, who says that they were there just for a fun race weekend. News 6's Mike Valente is in Daytona Beach.
It was Saturday night, the eve of the Daytona 500, and police are called to this area about a report of a person's throat being slashed with a, quote, edged weapon. The person using that weapon, Daytona Beach police say, was 44-year-old Jermaine Lynn Long, seen here in cuffs in this video taken by an employee who works along the beach. Long is charged with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. In a mostly redacted report, police wrote that medical attention was required for the victim's neck due to a, quote, severe laceration. Monday morning, a woman emailed News 6 identifying herself as the victim's mother. She wrote that her son is 13 years old and their family was in town for the Daytona 500. The woman called the attacker a deranged man and a random stranger. She said her son was taken to a hospital where he got 13 stitches. And she claimed, quote, The doctors said if the knife had cut 1 more millimeter, he could have died. It was on the overpass leading to Joe's Crab Shack where police say Jermaine Long was spotted and where they took him into custody. Now, we looked up Jermaine Long, and it seems like he has a history with police. As recently as January, he was arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Authorities in that case say he was using a bladed weapon. I'm News 6's Mike Valenti in Daytona Beach. Back to you.
A bullet went right through her hair bun, she tells us. Tonight, a restaurant worker says she's shaken up but not hurt one day after gunshots went through. Look at the broken glass there, and hurt 4 teenagers inside her restaurant, one of them critically wounded. Police say this started with the teens arguing with others inside Sister Soul Food. This is along South Paramore Avenue. It's not far from South Street, you can see. This is in Paramore. Police who were there described the chaos to your Orange County community correspondent, Jana Manahalal.
Chaos. Yeah. We had people screaming. We had children screaming and running, trying to find
elderlies
protection.
on the floor that trying to get protected, that barely can walk. They had to get down on the floor.
Not even 24 hours.
Not even 24 hours.
Have you been able to sleep at all?
No. Been up all night. It's hard. I'm thinking about that baby. Sitting that baby on the ground and they pumping in his chest. That's hurtful. I have nieces and nephews. I feel sorry for the family. I feel sorry for all the victims. I feel sorry for everybody.
It started inside the restaurant, the first set of bullets going through her bun and hitting the TV, stopping it from going inside the kitchen. After those first rounds of shots went out, families thought it was over until it wasn't. The shooting then started to come towards the restaurant. Look at this. 1, 2, 3 windows completely damaged from this.
We have chairs sitting in front of that glass where bullets coming in.
Do you think that if this started out there and you had your customers here, this could have been a lot worse?
Yes.
But since they started shooting inside, the people got up and moved from right there. And that what saved their lives.
If you had one thing to say to these teenagers, what would it be?
You don't have to pull out a gun and try to take somebody's life. It is not worth it. It is not worth it at all.
For now in Paramore, I'm your Orange County community correspondent, Jana Manahalal, News 6.
From a hero, deputies' big risk that paid off by saving a life to an emergency landing caused by a handful of deer. Matt Austin has your other stories making headlines in Central Florida and beyond.
We're seeing the moment a deputy rushed into a burning home in DeLand to save a woman's life.
Sheriff's office, your house is on fire.
So this rescue happened late Saturday night at a house on Palmetto Avenue. Once Deputy Austin Graham forced his way inside, he found the woman unconscious and quickly got her out.
Come on, ma'am. I got you. Come on. I'm inside, I can't breathe.
You can hear him coughing there. The woman is expected to make a full recovery. Deputy Graham shared what was going through his mind with your Volusia County community correspondent, Molly Reed.
There was like no thought in my mind she could be deceased. I'll just leave her and get out of here. I thought if there's a chance, I got to get her out.
A burnt shell of the DeLand home is the reminder now of what Deputy Austin Graham called an intense and out of the ordinary Sunday night. This is what he saw when he got to the call on Palmetto Drive.
I don't see that anybody's out of the house.
He calls his next move an educated gamble, thinking someone has to be inside.
Everybody was calling in saying that my neighbor's house was on fire. So I never heard anybody calling in saying my house is on fire.
All right, I'm getting no response from inside, but it's super smoky.
Despite having no firefighting equipment, protective gear, or even training on running into burning buildings, Deputy Graham broke into the door, got inside, finding the woman on the floor.
I got someone on the ground.
The video blurs when Graham finds her, but you can hear the fire trucks coming in the distance.
Come on, ma'am. I got you.
Deputy Graham's partner, Nathan Vargas, then runs up to the house.
So the first thing that's in my mind is he's somewhere trapped inside this house.
I'm inside, I can't breathe.
Deputies Graham and Vargas then pull her out, and once in the clear, they say they got a pulse.
My first thought was if she's wearing a wedding ring, so I checked for that. saw that she had one, and I assumed somebody else was in there. I was about to go in there again.
Firefighters say she was alone. Deputy Graham says he'll be forever grateful he took that gamble.
It paid off. I mean, it saved her life, and I'm eternally grateful to God for that.
And firefighters say they're still investigating, but they do believe that the fire started in the woman's kitchen and that it was accidental. I'm your Volusia County Community Correspondent Molly Reed, News 6.
Now, that deputy is a hero. Brevard County deputies now have a new weapon in the fight to protect kids. Meet Ellie, their new electronic detection dog. She's trained to sniff out hidden electronic devices. Ellie was donated by the nonprofit Defenders for Children. She'll be helping with internet crimes against children. The deputies say she'll help locate things like hard drives where child exploitation material is held. A routine takeoff last week in South Florida was anything but.
Did we get what, that there's 5 souls on board? Did we get aircraft struck some deer on takeoff? Is that what we heard? Yeah, the aircraft on the takeoff in North County struck about 6 deer.
Yeah, this is a new one. Emergency dispatch audio details what happened as a pilot prepared for an emergency landing at North Palm Beach County Airport early minutes and Tuesday morning. It was minutes after takeoff. The plane plows into a group of deer, damaging the aircraft. Aviation experts say when animals get in the way, pilots often have no choice but to hit them.
Clearly, you don't want to do anything that's going to, cause you to crash. Sometimes it's better to hit the animal and not be in the air when you do it. I tell my students, look, whatever you hit, whether it's a bird or a deer, it may damage the plane. I don't care. We can fix the plane. I just don't want you to get hurt.
All 5 passengers were okay. Well, for a daily conversational look at breaking news stories and the stories shaping Central Florida, join us for News 6 at 3 o'clock live every weekday. We hope you'll join us soon.
New at 10 tonight, a heads up before you burn. Osceola County is the latest in Central Florida and around the state to put a complete ban in place on outdoor burning. So this means no open fire pits, campfires, or yard debris burning in unincorporated areas of Osceola until further notice. Despite some rain on Sunday, Central Florida remains dangerously dry. St. Cloud, Orange City, and DeBarry all enacted similar burn bans over the past few days, joining local counties like Flagler, Marion, Sumter, and Brevard. Even if you don't fall under those specific burn bans, firefighters are asking you to please be smart and don't accidentally cause a brush fire for them. To ease the conditions behind those burn bans, meteorologist Jonathan Kegas, we need some real meaningful rain. At least this was a start, though.
It was a big start. Osceola County did not see as much rain as we saw areas along the northwest of I-4. I'll show you the drought conditions that did improve significantly across parts of Central Florida. High pressure, though, building that's going to allow things to be really dry again for the week ahead. We're going to break that part of your forecast down coming up at about 10:19.
NASA's gearing up to count down again at the Kennedy Space Center. How soon a second dress rehearsal this week could send astronauts sailing past the dark side of the moon.
Florida's new Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, says it's uncovered wasteful spending as its team of auditors has traveled the state. Coming up, see what happened when I asked DOGE to turn over its spending records.
You're watching News 6 at 10, live on a Monday night. We're covering Poinciana, Ponce Inlet, and all of Central Florida.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Central Florida Honda Dealers.
Demanding transparency, just not for themselves. Florida's new Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, we've been telling you, has been crisscrossing the state, ordering cities and counties to turn over their spending records. But when News 6 investigator Mike DeForest asked DOGE what it was spending, Florida's new beacon of accountability was less than forthcoming, we found.
We are creating a state DOGE task force.
About a year ago, Governor Ron DeSantis announced the state's new Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. Months later, a team of DOGE auditors traveled here to Orange County to meet with county administrators.
Are you with the state?
Our cameras captured the team's arrival. Now, I wanted to find out more about that meeting that occurred in this building here, so last fall I submitted these public record requests to Orange County government.
We don't have any dedicated program.
Within just days, county officials turned over these never-before-seen videos and photos showing their initial meeting with the DOGE team, as well as this sign-in sheet. It shows 10 people representing DOGE were in attendance. As you can see, most of the DOGE team disclosed their first and last names, but 2 representatives from the Department of Revenue did not identify themselves. As for the other DOGE team members on this list, I wanted to find out where they normally work. State records show one is employed by the governor's office. The second works for the Florida Department of Management Services. These 2 are employees of Florida's chief financial officer, Blaise Ingoglia, and these 4 were recruited from the Florida Department of Transportation. I also wanted to find out how much money those state workers from DOGE spent while traveling here to Orange County. It took Ingoglia's office more than 3 months to turn over these travel records for his representatives on DOGE. Those records indicate the CFO's 2 employees spent 3 nights at this Embassy Suites here in downtown Orlando. They each received per diem and money for meals. One rented a car, while the other charged the state for mileage on a personal vehicle. In total, the CFO spent a little more than $2,000 sending 2 of his employees to Orange County to work for DOGE. But what about the other DOGE team members on this list who traveled here to Orange County? How much did that cost you? Well, it has been nearly 4 months since I started trying to get those financial records. It appears the Department of Government Efficiency has not been quite so efficient in getting us or you those answers, but I'll keep trying. All right, pardon the interruption here. I have a last-minute update. Hours after my deadline for this story, which the state knew about, and hours after we shot all that video outside, the governor's office emailed me the travel records for its one DOGE representative. I'm still going through it, but it looks like he spent about $734 traveling here. We are still waiting on travel records from several other DOGE representatives. Mike DeForest, News 6.
News 6 was there for a grand opening in Orange County for big improvements at Horizon West Park when it opened in 2010. Just horseback riding and hiking were allowed in the 200-acre preserve. Today's improvements include a new access road, parking, restrooms, a trail, an event pavilion, and an inclusive playground for kids of all abilities. That work started in 2024 and cost the county more than $15.5 million. Construction will begin soon on more additions like a splash pad, a farmer's market setup, and a kayak and canoe launch. By this time tomorrow night, round-the-clock preparations will be on at Kennedy Space Center for another big test before astronauts can fly deeper into space than they have ever gone before. NASA confirmed late today a second wet launch dress rehearsal will take place Thursday. Wet means they're actually pumping fuel on board the giant moon-bound rocket. The first wet dress rehearsal, we told you, discovered leaks at the connections where the liquid hydrogen is pumped into the rocket. This week's rehearsal will see if a fix by NASA teams have actually solved the issue. If it did, the Artemis II astronauts, 4 of them, could be headed around the moon and back in less than a month. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas back with us. So we got a little bit of relief, Jonathan. You and I were talking about this earlier.
We were, yeah. And the biggest areas we picked up 1 to 2 inches of rain saw some significant changes in this daily drought index. There's a lot of numbers on your screen. So what does this mean? 500 is kind of the number where counties use to issue burn bans. We want to stay as far below that number as possible, and we've certainly fell back below that in parts of Sumter County. That's the average number that changed. We shaved up 130 points because of the rain last night in Sumter. We are still in the 440s. That's why our burn ban remains. You heard earlier Osceola was added. We did lose 29 points, but we're still in that 460 area. With the dry weather coming this week, that is no doubt the reason why that burn ban was enacted. Brevard, we had a little improvement, at least countywide on average, down to 468 in terms of the average. But still, we need more rain. Of course, these numbers are way too high. Marion, we are still above that 500 mark, even though we shaved off 64 points. So long story short, last night was awesome for most of us. We still need some more rain. Cold front from last night is pushing off towards the south. That's why we're about 15 to 20 degrees cooler this afternoon than where we were on Sunday. The clouds that were kind of hanging around tonight, or this evening, this afternoon, those are going to be leaving us. Watch out for a little bit of patchy fog tomorrow morning, especially in the areas that clear out with the extra moisture from the rainfall yesterday. There's lunchtime on Tuesday, just a few passing clouds. Otherwise, tomorrow is going to be a very nice afternoon. You can still see the clouds in the lights there. That's a live look in downtown Orlando with our Light Orlando delivering Hope Skycam. We have air temperatures back to the upper 50s. The breeze is still elevated somewhat, certainly not like yesterday. Out of the north at about 10 to 15 miles an hour, pumping in some of that relative chill. We're at 53 in the Villages. Good evening in Palm Coast. We are at 55. Hanging around 60 in Palm Bay and in Melbourne. Tomorrow morning, we're starting things off into the 50s for the most part. We'll slip back into the 40s in Denellen and Ocala, the average low this time of the year, in the lower 50s, so pretty much right where we should be tomorrow morning. Highs will get a couple of notches above the average tomorrow into the mid to upper 70s. Rain chances back to 0% again, and that's how it's going to stay for the entirety of the week ahead. 3-day forecast again over the next few days. 83 on Wednesday, 83 on Thursday, and again, this is why even with the rain yesterday, we're going to dry things out, and as the sun gets a little stronger, as it gets higher in the sky, and we warm things up big time, still the issues of the increasing drought. 86 on Saturday. There's another cold front out there. Don't put the winter clothes away just yet. 40s when you wake up on Monday morning, Eric.
Thank you, sir. They have been threatened with punishment, but students in Central Florida continue protesting the actions of ICE. Next at 10, why this latest local protest will not get these teens in any kind of trouble with their schools.
Your forecast is sponsored by Strata Service.
Another student protest in Brevard County against ICE. Unlike the last one I went to at Rockledge High School, this one is in front of Brevard County School Board. And it's not a school day, it's President's Day. So these students will not be threatened with discipline like detention or suspension.
Well, we're here protesting ICE. We're also here kind of protesting the school board after their unprofessional actions of the walkouts.
Okay, so do you think it's unfair that the school district threatened giving detention and suspension to your peers?
Well, there's definitely disciplinary actions if you walk out of school. That's very clear. However, the way they went about threatening students and threatening teachers was extremely unprofessional. So we just want to voice this heard. We want to say to the school board what they've been doing is not okay, and we're not going to accept it.
So what do you think this says that you're willing to come out here on your free time? That's what the school board suggested. They said if you want to protest, do it outside of class time.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're right. Class time is important, but it's also important to be aware of current events. On our day off, we could be doing anything, but we're out here because the situation is this bad. It is definitely a crisis right now. Constitutional crisis with our school board and everything, so we're out here trying to fight it.
ICE out! ICE out! Jack, the student, he's a Melbourne High School senior. He told me next the students will take their protest to the school board meeting coming up on the 24th. With Brevard Public Schools closed Monday, I didn't get an answer when I asked how many students got detention or suspension after the walkout 2 weeks ago when schools reopened. I'll add that information to clickorlando.com when they tell me. In Brevard County, I'm your Viera community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
Last night's rain was awesome.
Yes.
We still need to do some work. Still in the drought situation.
Yes.
One night's not going to help it, and we are dry all week. We're going to have much more on that coming up in a few minutes.
Yes, we're going to go out and do that work, but we'll be back at 11 o'clock. We'll see you then.